Hey there, everybody. What's up, Clarity Seekers? My name is Vernon, and welcome to another weekly episode of Clarity Edge. Now, what is Clarity Edge? We meet every Tuesday at 8 p.m., where we hang out, talk about pro tips for business development and growth, because we want to help everybody achieve clarity, true simplicity, and ultimately profitability. Profitability in different ways, not necessarily always money. It's always about what you want to get out of the interaction, engagement, or project that you are currently working on. Now, if you are indeed tuning in for the first time, please note we are running our program every Tuesday live on my Facebook channel, my private channel, as well as my YouTube channel, where most of my content are being recorded and stored. So yeah, if you're a business owner, a self-employed individual, or a professional looking to become more effective, achieve growth in your life through various topics, through personal development of various topics, do tune in. So where do I get my content? I was just talking to one of my clients today who tune into this weekly program. He asked me this question, like, where do you get all your content talk about? Well, very simple. Every week I meet various business people on a nearly daily basis, meet between 4 to 8. I have between 4 to 8 strategic meetings per week. Right, it can be very mentally taxing. It happens in all kinds of places, from the coffee shop to the boardroom, to the cafe, to the Zoom. Happens all over the place. And sometimes we encounter certain interesting concepts and ideas that I thought, hey, more people should know about this. And yeah, when the content gets captured on YouTube, sometimes it's very helpful to just direct them to the YouTube and watch the video. And yeah, more people can learn, right? So we're all here to learn. All right. So what are we going to talk about today? Oh yeah, if you are tuning in, please do comment in the section wherever to let me know that you can hear me, because running a one-person studio can be quite you don't even know how your sound is coming out. I have my phone next to me, and I have my WhatsApp open as well. So if you notice something strange happening, please do text me on the back end so that I know to make some changes. Okay. Sometimes some people say that they can't hear my voice, something like that, so they want to text me. So yeah, WhatsApp me, and yeah, any questions as well, any comments, right? Do put it in there as we go through the content together. So what are we going to talk about today? All right, today we're going to talk about advice versus opinions. All right, how to tell the difference. Now, as a business consultant, an advisor, of course, and as well as hanging out with regular folks, I myself give advice. I myself I consult my clients, and I also have opinions on things. How do you understand which is which, what is worth investing in, and what is something that just distracts you from your business or distracts you from your objective or direction? Because not everybody, some people are passing off their opinions as advice. Some people are passing off their advice as opinions. Some of them are just making suggestions that doesn't really have any link, connection, or sense. So we must understand the difference. So the framework, that I use to think about advice versus opinion when I encounter many advisors and many mentors in my line of work, I look at the level of communication that they have. At what level are we having this communication? We talk about accountability, which in my opinion is the most pivotal element when it comes to understanding the difference between advice versus opinion, or even suggestions, or even I'm just saying, right? Which is the juice of value. By juice, I mean essence. Then we will talk about the table. Singaporeans love tables, so the table, some comparison table for you to screenshot or to watch again. Okay, and we talk about some pro tips when it comes to receiving advice as well as giving advice. So let's hop in, guys. First, let's talk about the levels of communication. The levels of communication. Now, the levels of communication, before I, of course, show you the slides, it's a very common framework used to understand communication. There are more levels to this. I have only selected 4. It can become really nuanced for you to think about. But yeah, that's just the breakdown, okay? Right, so these are the 4 levels. The most surface of a level of communication is information. So it's just talking about meet me at 8 p.m., right? So that's just information. It's just meeting Vernon at 8 p.m. So it's pure information. So information includes and are not limited to stuff like that is blue, that is red, the ruling party of Singapore is the PAP, Facebook is the #1, whatever. I'm using a MacBook Pro, or I'm using a Windows computer, or I just bought an Alienware computer, or whatever. So these are the concepts of the levels of communication. Okay, so yeah, this is the first level, the most shallow level. This is where all the small talk happens, the exchanging information, like, hey, how did you get here? You're not asking because you're genuinely interested in how the person get here. You're not asking because you want to synthesize that piece of knowledge or information regarding how the person get here. You're not asking it because it's part of a larger strategy or plan. You're just asking it because you're just putting a piece of information out there, and they're taking a piece of information in here. Next, preferences. All right, so you're talking to somebody and you just find out that this person, I don't like chocolate, so I don't like chocolate. Or I like Avengers, I don't like Avengers. Batman's my favorite hero. I like to use Mac, I don't like to use computer. I don't use Windows, I prefer Alienware, I don't like Mac. You know, Apple users are posers, or Android people have no class, whatever. So you're just talking about your preferences, right? What you like or think, or what you prefer. So preferences is another level of conversation. So we can be having a conversation one-to-one, having a coffee, having a session together, getting to know each other, and we can talk about the preferences that you have in life or in work. Oh, I prefer to pay my people I prefer installments. I don't like to pay upfront, or I prefer to pay 100% upfront. If I can't afford to pay in full, I'm not even going to buy it. I will never leverage on an expense. I only leverage on assets or whatever. Okay, so this is a conversation where you're having it at the preferences level. The next kind of conversation is desire. So I really like him. I want his attention. So for example, this is obviously a girl liking a guy, works the other way around. Or, hey, I really want to get to know this person because I think he's important in my business or my strategy. I want to get I want to get my boss to notice me at work, so that he can give me more business opportunities or promotion opportunities. I want to get the attention of my target market so they will do business with me, or whatever. So this is the desires, right? What do you desire in your life? So generally, desires reflect your motivation, something that you want or don't want, right? So that's about motivation, right? So when you find out about a person's motivation, you find out more than just their preferences, which is they like chocolate cake, but you find out about their motivation. They want to lose weight, for example. So you find out what they want, as opposed to, oh, I prefer to eat clean these days. Okay, why? Because I want to lose weight. So you find out a bit about their desires. And last, but I would even say not even the least, but the most powerful and the most significant level of communication you have with somebody is the fear level. So I'm really afraid to disappoint my father, right? So this is an example of a fear a son might have, or a daughter might have, or anybody, male or female, might have, right? So it's a fear. I'm really afraid of failing my business, because if I fail my business, I'll be known as a failure in my life. So I will do whatever it takes to keep my business going, because my sense of self-worth is so linked to my success or failure of my business. So that's a fear, something you're really afraid of. So I'm very afraid of being seen as this or being seen as that, because if I'm seen as this and very seen as that, I might lose my this or I might lose my that. So that's fear. So these are the levels of communication. You must be wondering, why are we talking about levels of communication when it comes to advice versus opinions? Well, let's be honest, guys. Advice or opinions, chatting, talking, discussion, consultation, coaching, or whatever is essentially two persons talking to each other, right? Just having a conversation, right? But how the conversation happened, how insightful the conversation happened, is all a function of their listening skills, the thinking process, and how the person actually replies. All right, now it's very important for you to know about this, because later on when we talk about the different types of communication levels, right? When we talk about, I mean, if you're here to give an opinion, okay, information alone is enough for you to give an opinion. You don't really need to know the fear, the desires, or the preferences. You can just shoot an opinion out of thin air. Oh, you know what? I think that Singapore's a great country to live in, best city in the world to live in. Right? Have you done your research? Have you gone and lived in other countries? What matrix or what framework are you using to calculate if this is truly the best country to live in? Answer is did nothing of that. Zero. Okay, you have an opinion based on your limited and not robust perspective. You just shoot out an opinion. So that's an example, right? But again, as usual, I am getting ahead of myself. So understand, okay, the levels of communication, information, preference, desire, and fear. So it's very good. If you want to work with somebody, commit with somebody, grow with somebody, understand their fears, and you will understand them in a very important and powerful way. Okay, let's talk about engagement, right? Engagement meaning how you end up talking to somebody, okay, in a conversation. Okay, so so for example, you come up to me and you just let me know, hey, tonight I'm not available, I'm busy tonight. So you're just telling me something, right? So let's say I'm having a conversation, you say, hey, Bernard, I'm not available tonight I'm busy. So I'm finished with a meeting with you, and I say, hey, tonight I'm not available. That's all, right? Just information. Next one, but hey, I would like to be at Bedok by 8 p.m. That's your preference, right? You would like to be at Bedok by 8 p.m. Must you? Is that your home? I don't know. Is there anything significant happening at 8 p.m.? I don't know. I just say, hey, I would like to be there by 8 p.m. That's my preference. Okay, sure. Preference because like to be. Next is I got $6. I got $5. I need to be Bedok by 8 p.m. What's the best way? Right. So now we're talking about desire, right? I need to be at Bedok by 8 p.m. I got $5, right? So I need to think a little bit. So there's some constraints and consideration here already, but yeah, I need to be there. So it's not like to be there, I need to be there. Now next. If I don't get to Bedok by 8 p.m. today, I'll lose my chance to see my children. I only have $5. What should I do? Now, this is a real deep conversation, all right, because he's talking about fear here, because he will lose his chance to see his kids for the rest of his life. I only have $5. What should I do? So now he's asking you for something. He's asking you for your input, for something, right? So how you respond to each of them obviously depends on your commitment and your accountability to this particular individual. Let's understand this a bit more. Okay, let's understand something about engagement, guys. It's all about levels, trust, and safety. If people feel they trust you, that means they believe that when they reveal more about themselves, you won't use it against them. It's all about them feeling safe. The safer they feel with you, safe meaning they don't feel exposed and they don't feel dangerous. They don't feel that they are in danger when they share more with you or talk to you more in detail, then it's the deeper the levels you go. Now, if they want to keep an image, okay, they might hang out in the desire, the preferences, and the information level. You don't really find out anything about them. You just know everything that can be observed by looking at it. That means I don't even need to talk to you directly. I can find out all this information, right? So that's not a good place to be in. Again, we'll talk about it later, because when it comes to advisory services, you cannot advise somebody if you do not know at least their desire, if not their fear itself. If you don't know these two things, it's impossible to give them proper advice. You can just at best share opinion and make suggestions, because you don't really know and fully understand what's going on. Don't put the effort and time and hours to actually go deep with this conversation. All right, let's understand this, okay, about human behavior. Okay, this is coming like a pro tip. People don't buy the best product or service in the marketplace. This is a marketing law. It's not my opinion. It's not my experience even. This is a fact of marketing, the fact of business, and the fact of getting things out there. People don't buy the best product or service, okay, friends. they buy the more reliable one. Okay, I would say the most reliable one, but it's a bit too exaggerated. They buy the one that's more reliable. If there's two, the more reliable will. They add a third one in, they will go for the next the more reliable one. Reliable, not the best, because the best doesn't exist. Why? Very simple. Think craft beer. There are a bazillion flavors of craft beer in the world. Which is the best? There isn't a best beer in the world, but there is the best beer for you. That means the more I say this beer is available, you're gonna take out money, you're gonna buy their brand of beer because that's the best beer for you. Right? But that's not necessarily the best beer in the world, because you can never find the best beer in the world. Okay, understand that it's all about people buying the most reliable one, because when you know what you want, you like it, it's consistent, you will go for it. When you're pitching a product and service, okay, you're able to demonstrate to your client that you are the most reliable one, the most consistent output, you are likely to get that particular product, or you likely to get that sale. All right, is this your first time doing this, or can you do this in your sleep? Okay, this particular point, right, is regarding competency and expertise. Just understand this: what is common sense to you is not common sense to other people. Consultancy or giving of advice, or you must understand, words are gonna come with your mouth, and these words can change the lives of other people, right? So just understand, okay, if you're gonna say something, you must be so experienced, so knowledgeable, so certain, and so full of like wisdom in that particular point that you can put your life-changing sauce inside it. All right, that means, put it in simple English, don't talk rubbish. Okay. Now we're gonna go into this about what gives your words and my words so much influence in the people around us and those that work with us. Okay, okay, is accountability, which I call it the juice of value, or if you want, the essence of value. Now, remember, right, what is the most powerful tool of a salesperson? I went through this a couple of weeks ago on between sales and business development. What is the most powerful tool of a salesperson? Okay, it's his reputation. All right, it's the story that others tell about you when you are not in the room. It is the way they remember you. So your reputation, okay, is your most powerful weapon as a salesperson or as a business person. What does it mean? It means your reputation precedes you. So whatever, for example, my reputation is incredibly good. For example, I turn up to this place, I make a recommendation. People say, okay, Vernon, you say it's good, I'm going to buy it. I don't even like explain the product or service, the features and benefits. You just sit down and say, okay, Vernon, I have this problem, I got this need, I got this requirement, I got this. What do you recommend I do, I buy, or I go to solve my problem? Because my reputation has preceded me, because I've successfully done it so many times, everybody been talking about what a great job I've been doing. They straight away say, okay, if Vernon says it, let's go for it. All right, so that's the most powerful tool of any salesperson. Not your sales deck, not your shirt, not your Lamborghini, not your Mercedes, not your Ferrari. Your most powerful tool that you have as a salesperson is your reputation. So please protect that with your life. Okay. Now this is where the advisory element come in. Okay. When you tie your reputation to the outcome, you create great value, but don't do it anyhowly. All right, that means to say, if I'm an advisor, okay, and I give a particular advice, I charge money for it, and the advice goes out, and the outcome turned out to be a great disaster. Now everybody will be this will become part of my legacy. My reputation will be completely destroyed, because I was an advisor for this organization, and I advised him to do this thing, which turned out to be a terrible, terrible thing. Okay, so that's an example of like giving good advice and how your advice can actually tie your reputation. So when you tie your reputation to your advice, right, to the thing that comes from your mouth, or to recommendation, if you tie your reputation to your recommendation, right, it becomes advice, because it becomes life-changing. It becomes tied to your reputation. There's accountability. You can charge money for it, okay, by the way, because you're willing to tie your accountability to it. Okay, does it make sense? Okay, let's say you come to me and you ask for my suggestions. Hey, Vernon, what do you suggest to eat here? Okay, at this particular food court. I say, just eat chicken rice. I mean, that's what I would eat. So you eat a chicken rice, that it will be crap. Are you gonna like condemn me as an eternal loser of life because I have to make a recommendation of food to you? The answer is no. Why? Because I'm not a food blogger, I'm not a food expert, I'm not authority in food. I'm just a regular Joe when it comes to food and food costs. right? But if you go and talk to, like, I don't know, Mr. Makan Sutra or something like that, and then you bring him along and you ask him to this, happen to be having a meal with him, say, hey, this kopitiam, what do you think is good to eat? And he make a recommendation to you, and he charges you 20 cents to make a recommendation, and you buy that chicken rice, and it turned out to be so shit. Guess what? Nobody, that really ties into the reputation. So that's kind of like an advice. So there are many people out there, right, who have been giving out advice and not charging for it. Their reputations are boosted or beneficial or even destroyed, but they're not getting any monetary benefit out of it because they're not selling their advice. Again, by sales, again, please check out my YouTube channel to understand this concept of sales again, because sales is not necessarily influence only, but the mutual exchange of value. Again, check out my YouTube channel to find out more about this. And if you happen to be there, please, subscribe, like, the subscribe to the channel, please, so that I can, hit 100 subscribers. All right. Next, okay, so like, say for example, let's imagine you have this, remember the case of the guy, the $5 and need to be Bedok. I have a car and I will drive you over by 7:45 p.m. Wow. Okay, special shout out to this video, to this nice picture by my buddy Barry Sia, photographer. Really nice picture, so I thought I'd just feature it over here. I have a car and I will drive you over by 7:45 p.m. Surely at that point of time, you're going to drop to your knees and say, you're the best guy ever. Thank you so much. And obviously, I must deliver my promise of getting you there by 7:45 or at least before 8 o'clock. Now, if I make this claim for you, right, you'll be like, wow, I'm the best guy ever because I fulfill his greatest fear. The same thing with advice. If you're willing to tie your reputation to the words that come out of your mouth, and the words that come out of your mouth are able to address his greatest fear, achieve his desires, okay, and of course fix his preferences, you will become very successful in your life, as an advisor and a consultant. But you just need to know what you are doing. So sometimes people do come up to me and ask me for my input in A, B, C, and D, and I really just no comments, because I'm not in the expert, I'm not in the position. Or I'll just say, hey, I can't really comment, I'm not really an expert in this area. But if you really press me for it, I'll just say, just try the chicken rice because I like the chicken rice. I'll just say that, okay, I don't tie my reputation to this. Okay, I'm not charging you money for this. I'm not exchanging value with you. I'm just saying that if you really want to know what I will eat at this kopitiam, I will eat the chicken rice. But hey, don't tie me to it. Now, if I say like this, it's an opinion because your reputation is not tied to what I'm saying. You are welcome to take my opinion, but don't bust anybody's balls, okay, if the opinion turned out to be not the right fit. Because I can easily say, oh, you never tell me there was this and this and this. You never tell me that you need to be there by 8 p.m. You just say that you need to be at Bedok. You never say it's by 8 p.m. So I just take my time lah. So you must understand this concept, right? You need to know that not everybody who talks to you are actually giving advice. Advice is when they tie their reputation to it, they put in a lot of effort to find out the constraints and concerns. Then they make a recommendation out of their mouth and they link their reputation to it and they pair the risk together with you. That's advice. Because many lawyers end up being sued by the very company that they were hired for the advice, for giving bad advice. You can be sued for giving bad advice. All right, so here's every Singaporean's favorite slide, which is a table. All right, so here are a quick summary, advice, all right, tied to specific challenges generally. Opinions are just shallow sharing at the top part, which is just informational or preferences, not tied to specific challenges that they had. Okay, people has paid for this person for his suggestions before. So, for example, if an insurance financial advisor, he obviously makes a lot of money from advising bosses or individuals, then he has been paid. He has been paid for his advice before, his suggestion. So normally people who share opinions have never been paid for their perspective or of all views regarding the subject matter. So, hey, nobody ever paid for my opinion before. I'm suddenly going around and just giving it to it. Of course, there is a joke, opinions are like, something negative, a body part, and everyone has one. Okay, so sometimes everyone has two. Now, advice the people who give advice, right? They have a deep understanding of your desires, your constraints, and consideration. They put a lot of effort to go very deep in understanding you before they actually fire off a recommendation or a suggestion. But opinions are open to interpretation and applicable to various other situations. So, for example, my opinion is that if you cannot afford something, don't buy it. Don't borrow money to buy something if you can't afford it. That's my opinion. Okay. Now, what if it's the education for your children? You can't afford it right now, so you just don't buy it, and your kids have no education. Depends, bro. Depends on what it is. Depends on what's the situation, what's the context. Right? Opinion is just in general. My point of view regarding things in general, applicable in various situations, not necessarily linked and tied down to one. Okay, like what I said, the next one is advice is tied to his or her reputation, whereas opinions will be like, hey, disclaimer, hey, I don't want to get with that. I just want to tell you that this is my point of view, this is my opinion, this is my perspective. This is my opinion, this is my perspective. Don't sue me, okay, if I get it wrong. Okay, reaching the end of section, and it's the last part, which is my favorite part. Pro tips. Okay. Pro tips. Remember, okay, pro tip, never give advice. Guys, never give advice. Okay. Okay, advice only is advice if people I don't know, ask you for it. All right. If you don't, nobody asks you for it. ST, just don't say anything and shut up. Okay. Suggestions, perspective, opinions, and sharing, they are not advice. Okay, they're just people talking. No accountability, no tying to reputation, shooting the breeze, hanging on a kopitiam, talking about this and that, their views, their preferences, their desires, talking about information. Okay, they never go down deep. They never tie their reputation to the outcome. So not really a good advisor. Right? Those who speak freely will be free. Those who control their words will be valued. Okay, those who speak freely, their words will be free. Okay, like nobody pay for it. Those who control their words, okay, will be valued for their advice. So generally, people who are very good in giving advice don't talk very much because they're very reserved. They listen more than they speak. However, those who generally keep shooting their mouth have an opinion on every single thing, from an opinion from the color of the curtain all the way to the way you drive, all the way to the taste of the food. This guy has an opinion on everything. Generally, not a good advisor. This is my sign. So if you identify somebody who keeps shooting their mouth and talking about and have an angle or perspective and opinion about something, generally speaking, they will not be a good. They won't be good advisors, and that is my opinion. All right. So thanks everybody. Hope you guys had fun today, listening in and checking out my view. This is my view and my opinion on what is advice versus opinion. Now, if you like my advice on regarding specific topics or tips, do check out my website, which can be found on my YouTube page. Do like and subscribe as well. Do reach out to me if you would like some advice on clarity, business development, and growth. All right, I'm really very passionate about going out there and meeting business owners as well as self-employed people, helping them to get clarity in their business and in their professional as well as personal lives, so they can be more effective and greater contributors to society. Okay, so with that, thanks all for tuning in to yet another episode of Clarity Edge on Tuesday. I will see you guys next Tuesday for yet another random interesting topic on clarity, simplicity, and profitability. All right, with that, peace out, clarity seekers.